YouTube friend. Let's talk a little bit about pH. We all know it's important. A lot of us spend a lot of time and effort trying to get the best pH, the perfect pH. But very often what we end up doing is chasing a pH. And that can create more problems than simply letting things be stable. I've done a little bit of research, and what is pH essentially is we're measuring how acidic or unacidic the water is, how alkaline it is, and a lot of that has to do with the amount of dissolved solids that is in the water, because those can help to neutralize the acidicness in the water. Now remember that the nitrogen cycle, nitric acid, is an acid. So again, a tank that is unattended to and allows these acid buildups to occur will have a drop in pH. But another reason why you should change your water, right? Pull some of those acidic elements out of your tank. This is why you should do good water changes. The thing that I see as a mistake that people make is they chase pH, and by that what I mean is they start frantically putting in additives into the water, pH up, pH down, buffers, things of this nature. And if you were to create a drastic change in pH, that actually would be more damaging to your fish than to live at a pH that is maybe a few decimal points off of where they are from natively. The truth is that most fish that you're buying these days have not been anywhere near their native waters for many, many, many years. And chances are they haven't existed at that exact pH. But nevertheless, they do have certain ranges that they seem to do better in. And as a fish keeper, if you can help provide that, why not? Why not help the fish to thrive, to have the best color? So in my case, what I have done is I've added elements that I feel can keep the pH at the proper level. And in my case, that's aragonite, an aragonite substrate that releases minerals, primarily calcium, magnesium, things of this nature, into the water, and that can help to stabilize and keep the pH relatively high in the 7-8 to 8 range that African cichlids enjoy. If you want to lower pH, you should not use things like crushed coral as a substrate. You shouldn't have shells. You shouldn't have aragonite, that type of a substrate. You should go with regular gravel, or maybe some play sand, things of this nature, and use things that will lower pH, such as wood, things that would release the kind of things that would give you a lower pH number, essentially things that are a little bit acidic. So in the case of cichlids, you don't want that. You want a mineral content in the water that is high, but if you start putting in things that are trying to buffer it up suddenly, that could actually shock the fish. As a matter of fact, when I do water changes, I reduce the water level quickly, but I fill it back up relatively slowly, so things can kind of adjust slowly, and I still get fish flashing, and by flashing what I mean is rubbing up against things, sometimes doing a little bit of a shimmy, which is usually an indication that there's been a little bit of a shift in the pH, and they're feeling a bit of discomfort. At any rate, my advice is if your fish look like they're thriving and the pH numbers are relatively close or in range, you're better off just leaving things alone. Don't mess with it. You can, you hear advice like, well, add baking soda. Well, if you add things like that, you're then going to have to always be sure you have a correctly measured amount with every water change, and you're gonna, if you miss a few times, you may have a shift that could actually be very damaging to the fish. you're almost better off just letting the fish adapt to what is easy for you to maintain. And in my case, by adding something that is releasing minerals, in this case the substrate. In the case of my 60-gallon, you see a lot of shells and coral in there. Those are there to keep the pH high. So that for me is very low maintenance. Now there are some old school ways that you can raise pH. For example, you can take a bag of, you can take crushed coral and put it in a mesh bag and put that inside your filter. That will actually help you to get pH going up gradually, gently. And so there are a lot of techniques you can use to get the pH moving. So my advice, don't chase pH, don't make drastic changes and avoid, if you can, additives, because these additives, you'll be inconsistent, especially with random water changes, filter maintenances, things of this nature. You will be inconsistent in the addition of those additives, and inevitably you will create some shifts. So my advice is let things settle out, do what you can that creates a stable pH in the range that your fish, in or very close to the range that your fish should be at ideally, and then leave it alone. Don't mess with it too much, and don't set up circumstances that could create a sudden shift, such as needing to add large amounts of additives that if you ever run out of them or whatever, you end up having a severe shift. So that's my 2 cents on pH. I hope that helps a little bit. It is. It might seem complicated, but it's actually a little bit. It's pretty simple once you get your wits around it. There's some great articles out there. Basic Water Chemistry is an article that I recommend. It's available on cichlid-forum.com, one of the go-tos that I use. So all you have to do is just Google pH water chemistry or ideal pH for Malawi's, or for Malawian fish. There's lots of different things you can Google, and you can get a lot of good information out there. So study up, and but please don't chase, don't go onto a pH merry-go-round. That will end up shocking your fish. Okay. So thank you so much for tuning in. Greatly appreciated as always. Be sure to follow on Instagram. I'll post it up here, and like I normally do. And I'm adding a little logo button that if you tap on it, if you tap on this logo button right here, you can actually subscribe to the channel. And also up here you'll see the Facebook page. Come on over to ben.o.cichlid and expand the conversation there. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. You are greatly appreciated, as you know. Be sure to comment, share, subscribe, all that. Excuse me, all that good stuff. And thank you for stopping by. You are appreciated.